everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Karina and welcome back to my channel. It is very strange to be doing a bi-monthly update, but that is what we are doing today for the very first update for the Graveyard Project Pan. Details about the project, the creator, all of that good stuff, description box down below, and my intro video. But 2 months since I last saw you guys, and there's been lots of progress and very little progress simultaneously on some of these items. There is very much to discuss what I've been able to do since the last time I saw you guys for this project 2 months ago. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it. So where we're going to start off is an item that is kind of difficult to see progress with, and of course that is my Haus Laboratories. This is their liquid eyeshadow. Mine is in the shade Aphrodite, which of course is the color I'm wearing all over the lids today. Beautiful champagne sparkly color. The goal with this was to use it about 30 times. So of course I did all of the explanation for that in my last video. But that goal at this rate might actually become to finish it, because I might finish this before I even hit the 30. I have now, the stopper is removed. My husband had a really hard time trying to get this one out. It was a difficult stopper to remove. And of course that there is the color. I have used this 11 times over the last 2 months. So pretty good, pretty good. I was trying to use it a lot more in May, but you know, is what it is. 11 is not bad. That's putting me just a little bit ahead of schedule, on track. And when I was first using it before the stopper was removed, it was very difficult to get product out onto the brush. So I was having to reapply 1 or 2 times a day because there wasn't a whole lot being transferred to the eye initially, and then it would kind of disappear, fade away. Since removing the stopper, I have had a much easier time getting a nice application on, so I don't think I've had to be reapplying this after it's been on. But today when I put it on, it's kind of difficult. It's very crumbly. Like, you kind of have to do a bit of this, and then you get some of those like little crumbly chunks on there. So I don't know how much longer this is going to be sticking around for. So we'll see. Right now I am kind of only using this about once a week right now, simply because I'm trying to put more focus on my Use That Eyeshadow project pan and the other liquid eyeshadow I have in my deck of panning project, the Lorac eyeglass or eyegloss in the shade Skinny Dip, which is a very vibrant duo multi-chrome blue color. So you've probably seen that one in a few videos. That's what it has been. And because we're in the summer months, I'm leaning more towards the Lorac than this guy here. If it's not finished up with that once a week use over until the next update, which will be at the end of August, then I'll go pretty hard on this in September and get it finished off. The second item I had rolled into the project, it is getting much smaller. This is my Bourjois Eyeliner. So nice little brown, a little bit of some metallic on there. Very pretty. Getting very, very short. I am wearing it today, so you can kind of see it in action a little bit. It's a little bit difficult to get it over top of a cream, but I try to wear as many of the products in the update as I can. So I have made substantial progress on this, 22 uses since my last update, and I don't know how much further down that's going to sharpen, because the plastic bit starts here, if you guys can see that, and we'll see how far down this goes. I think I might get one more use and then I'll have to sharpen again because, again, the wood along the side, a little bit difficult. But anyway, very excited about this. It is very, very short now. I kind of had a little bit of I haven't been using it very much, so that prompted me to reach for it a little bit more, make some good progress. So I'm feeling much better about this item now. Okay, guys, I promise you, I've been using this item. I've been using this item like every day. Like, you'll see it reflected in the count. And that, of course, with the super reflective packaging, my Nude by Nature. This is their translucent loose finishing powder in the shade 04 Banana. I don't use a lot of powder, okay? I use it under the eyes to set the lines here, sometimes here to kind of mattify, I guess, a little bit. And if you've caught the Sephora haul when I brought in the Sephora collection Velour Puff, I've actually switched from using what was the Mary Kay powder foundation brush, because I did like that for using for setting powder, and I switched over to the Velour Puff, which I think since doing that, I might be using less powder than I did before. And despite using this product 55 times, 55 times since I filmed the intro video for you guys, so the days of filming there, that's where I've gotten to. That was the intro. This is 2 months later. This is not going to get finished in this project. It's not going to be finished by the end of the year. Now, again, granted, I am at the widest part of this container, so I am trying to keep that in mind. But, oh, man, that was kind of sad when because I just did it now, because, of course, by doing this, there's going to be a lot of product here in the cap now. So it's probably going to show a little bit more progress than there actually is. But, oh, it's because, yeah, when I take the cap off, like, look at all that powder that's just sitting there now. So this is a little bit sad, but I did use it, again, the 55 times. The goal is to finish, but the reality is I'll just keep going as far as I'm able to go with it. All right, the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer. My goal with this item was actually to hit pan on it, because, of course, as you guys can see with the previous shot, there was no pan in it. But I did think I was getting close to hitting pan. After 55 uses on this particular bronzer, I am very pleased to announce that there's pan in there. Look at it. Now, I could have gone a little bit more like aggressive expansion on this pan, but I didn't. So how I use this product is I'll take a big fluffy brush, I think it's like a powder brush, kind of tap it generally in the middle, and go around the perimeters of the face. And then I will go on the cheekbones with like a more focused brush, but I would put the brush up here to try to get more of that product along the top, because as you guys can tell, the big fluffy brush is preferring to pick product more from down here than up top. So I tend to target up here. And of course, if I'm reapplying the bronzer, which I don't count tallies for because I'm only going to count reapplication if I'm using the same amount of product the second time compared to the first time. Which is why, for example, the Aphrodite eyeshadow, this bronzer, they're just the number of times I did like a full face application. Whereas lip products, that's, full on use again. But this goal is met. I am actually going to be rolling this out of the project and bringing something in its place, and you'll see a little bit more of the narrative why with the next item. The Lucky Glow. This is the bronze and highlight palette that I've been working on for a very long time, and you guys have seen some of that journey in some of the projects. This palette has both good news and bad news in there. So I was working on 2 products in this palette for this update here, because I had finished off all of the bronzers previously. I had the blush, the only blush in this palette, in the shade Lucky Flush. I also had a really pretty highlight in 777s. So I'm just going to show you what the palette looks like now, and then we'll talk through the news. All right, this is the state of my palette now. You guys will notice the highlight is gone. That goal is met. It is finished. To talk about the highlight very quickly then, I had to only reach for 777s 18 more times to finish it off. Very exciting. Which, as you guys can see, we still have that blush in Royal Flush, which looks pretty darn similar for having used it for 2 months. And that's because I only reached for it 13 times. What I've come to realize about this blush And it's clearly taken me a very long time to realize this. I don't like it. And I know my goal was to finish it, that use up 5 out of 6. But I've used up 2/3 of this palette, right? 4 of those pans are completely empty. Again, that other highlighter just doesn't work for me. It's too metallic. But what I've realized, I don't like the color of Royal Flush. And now that everything else is done that I'm going to use in this palette, that became essentially a single blush. And I'd rather actually use the blushes that I like, because I'm not going to get through them. The reality is, blush takes so long, and I have too many of them to actually use them up before they expire. So you guys might have guessed this if you've been really watching my other projects, that I have been rolling in and also rolling out blushes in things like This Is Fantasy, Deck of Panning. So blushes have been coming up. I've been using those instead. So basically, as soon as I finished 777s, got that last use on there, this went into my section to wait to be updated on. So part of this, obviously, I do have some empties. These, I will take photos. I will feature those in my end of year empties. But these 2 shades here, this highlighter that I've barely used, and this blush that I got a ton of use on, those are going to be decluttered. So you'll actually see this palette again in my next declutter video. Next up is my setting spray. This is the L'Oreal Infallible, their Pro Spray and Set Makeup Extender. I am not sure how well this does with extending the wear of my makeup, but I have it, I'm using it. The mist isn't always the best. It does get a lot of product with this. You do have to really make sure you hold it back here. And of course, because this is very opaque black packaging, it's hard to tell where I'm at. It was a brand new item. I had used it once or twice to test it out to make sure I liked it before I rolled it into this project. And I actually reached for this guy 54 times since the last update. Now again, because of the opaque packaging, basically what I did, take the cap off, take this off, shine a flashlight in it, and try to see roughly where I am. So it's not going to be the most accurate marking, but I think I'm around here. Somewhere in this area. So, it's possible that I could have this done by the finale based on that progress. So yeah, that's good. This is the only setting spray I'm using. This is the only one I am going to be using until it's either finished or this project ends. But around there. So pretty good progress, because I wasn't sure I would finish it. It is a full 100 milliliters. And we're getting there. We are slowly getting there. And then the last item, which again, mainly is brought in to be that very summery type item. That is, of course, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Shimmery Body Oil. This smells so good. It smells so good. Generally what I do is you have to hold it pretty far away again and kind of do 2 spritzes. So you get full chest kind of glitter, glowy kind of things going on. May was not a very good month for this because, again, still at work, and working in a safe environment is not so good for products like this. Plus, glittery. But I have been better trying to use it more in June. So that's the good news, at least. The goal is to use half. And with a total of 31 uses, which is more than I thought I had. So that's something. But the progress starting here to there. And my goal was to get like here-ish or so, right halfway through the bottle. You can see there is a bit of separation in there. So you do have to make sure you mix it before you use it. And then, of course, it is gorgeous, good to go. I don't think I'm going to hit my goal on this, you guys. I will be pushing on this over the course of the next 2 months, so for the next update, because of course that's the prime summer time, very appropriate to wear something like this. But end of August, back to regularly scheduled programming, which means this, I'll try to remember to apply after work, and that's how I got my uses in May plus weekends. assuming I remember it all the time, which didn't always happen. But in October, I'm really not sure how much use I'm going to get because up here in Saskatchewan, you know, those Canadian winters, they come quick. So, like the nude powder, I'm not sure how far I'll get, but I'm going to keep going because at least with having it in the project, I've gone far more usage. Like that was the usage up here that I had over the last, how long have I had this product? Year and a half? 2 years? This was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Takeover box when I got this one. So whatever that box was, that's the progress I made between the start of this project and then. So it is much more use, which is good. So we'll just keep going. All right, those were all of my items I had brought in. Now, so quick recap here. I hit my goal. This one, I hit a goal on here, and I'm decluttering an item. So what I'm going to do is actually bring in a palette I have been waiting to bring in. I'm very, very excited. But it is, once again, a bronzer, blush, and highlight palette, which is why, very appropriate, this is getting rolled out because I at least did hit my goal. And then I will use that palette holistically. So you'll see this bronzer again sometime, I am sure. And you're going to see it in a different form right now because what I'm bringing in is the Physicians Formula. This is their Butter collection. It was a collaboration palette. I have had this palette for quite a while, and I do want to get use out of it here in the summer. This is what the palette is looking like. So we do have the Deep Bronzer, which is the one I'm wearing today. You also have the Sunset Bronzer. And then you've got the limited edition shades that were done in collaboration. You have this blush in Apricot, which is fairly pretty. I do like it. I do enjoy Wildflower, though better. That's the blush I'm wearing today. Then you have these two highlighters, and this is where I'm struggling a little bit. I need to do some experimentation. This first one in Golden Hour, it's too deep for me. I can't wear this one as a highlighter. Yes, I could wear these as blushes or blush toppers, I guess, but it's just, I got enough blush without trying to do blush topper. So it's gorgeous. I can't, I don't think I can wear it. I might try on sometime just to roll it out for sure. Whimsical, this top one here, it's this pink with some like gold pieces running through it. It is the highlighter I'm wearing today. It's better on this side than this side. This side got a little bit too much. So it does go, if you get too much, it gets right into very glittery metallic looking. So I'm not sure, one, how much use I'm going to get out of it, or two, if I'm going to technically consider these decluttered. So for this first month, I'm going to be experimenting. I'm going to see how I feel about these highlighters, move on from there. So how I'm going to be treating this palette, I'm not going to break down the individual shades because that's an additional 6 things to keep track of, and I'm tracking a lot of products. So I'm going to track this palette holistically, which means if I use the bronzer, blush, and highlighter together, or if I find out I don't like the highlighters, then the bronzer and blush together, that is going to count as one use, regardless of which one or what combo I do. Of course, you guys know I do have blushes rolled into other projects. I will not reach for the bronzers in here because the bronzers, at least based on my progress in the Lucky Glow palette, go the fastest. So I will be reaching into something like this bronzer, or if I'm experimenting with other bronzers in my collection, and use a single bronzer and some other kind of highlight at that point. So we'll see where I'm at with this in a month. I do know that I like these blushes, I really do enjoy. And with it being summer, I think I can get away with these bronzers. So we'll see how these things go. And then as we get into the fall, again, we'll update further. This is getting older, which is why I'm wanting to prioritize it at this point. But it smells so good. So I'm very excited to bring it in because I wasn't bringing this in until that other palette was done. And now I'm not going to use that. Because again, I like Apricot at least a little bit better than Royal Flush. So this item, although there's 6 things in here that I'm going to be technically working on / experimenting with, this all counts as one. So that brings me down to 6 items. Technically, that's going to be in this project, which was my original goal because lots of people do 6 items. But when we started this project, I had a few more things I wanted to work on. And then ideally for goals 2 and 3, maybe finish both of these. The eyeliner, of course, I'm very optimistic about. Again, not much left there, and depends on how many sharpens we get. This one, again, I am wearing only about once a week. That's probably not going to change. But yeah, like you get all these little crumblies, and I don't know, especially now that there's more air getting in here, how many more uses I'm actually really going to get from this. If it is still hanging around by the next update, I will prioritize this and go a little bit harder on it in September since it is very work appropriate. But again, as I referred to earlier, because we are in summer now, I'm really trying to prioritize Little Rock in the shade Skinny Dip because that is very summer appropriate, and I am not going to wear that one to work. So that is where we're at for this update. So thank you so much for joining me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll see how much progress I'm able to make for our second update. Again, that's going to be coming for you guys at the end of August, so it'll be very interesting to see where I'm able to get, or the using things constantly but making tiny bits of progress. So we will see, but thank you so much, and I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Have a wonderful day.